Well, Bennett Kessler filed this following story. As fears of drought grow, well, so do rumors. One that came to the Sierra Wave newsroom was that the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power planned to drain Crowley Lake. Now, Chris Plakos of DWP Public Relations said that's not true. Plakos said, quote, rumor that LADWP is planning on draining Crowley Lake are unfounded and incorrect. LADWP understands the value and significance of Crowley for recreational, habitat, and water storage purposes and has managed Crowley to meet those needs since it was first put into service in 1941, end quote. Now, Plakos also said that LADWP's 2014 operational plans for Crowley Lake call for the elevation to rise to just under 2/3 full, quote, based upon anticipated very low runoff this year resulting from the continuing drought. The elevation will level out and then lower later in the year. The lowest planned elevation will be slightly below half full and similar to its lowest level during the 2013 season, end quote. And again, that's from Chris Plakos. Now, although rumors in Bishop indicated water problems with the city of Bishop well number 1, Public Works Director Dave Graw said that well, quote, has always been troubled, end quote, with high fluoride levels and is only used in emergencies as a standby. Graw said the 2 production wells for city customers are fine. Now, concerns grew for all well users in the Bishop area when 7 or more domestic wells went dry in West Bishop neighborhoods. Inyo Water Director Bob Harrington said his preliminary conclusion was a lack of surface water recharge impacted the neighborhood wells. Now, after wells in West Bishop went dry, the city of Bishop issued a news release to assure customers that city wells were not affected by the drought so far. Officials did ask customers to conserve water whenever possible. Public Works Director Graw said that city workers are making it a point to keep an eye on the 2 city production wells. He said they seem unaffected and that the city is checking them monthly, plus looking for new ways to monitor water supplies. Now, one of the city production wells is about 3 miles west of the city near West Line Street. Officials had earlier said that well is about 400 feet deep with the water level at about 85 feet below the surface. The second well is located near the Tri-County Fairgrounds and is about 500 feet deep, and the level of the water is about 5 feet below the surface. And Bennett Kessler also filed this story. A meal and someone to share it with. Dozens of Inyo County senior citizens look forward to that every day when they go to the closest senior citizen center and have lunch. So when county officials started to work on what they call service redesign to try to save money, word spread that lunches for seniors might change, that the jail kitchen might handle their meals instead of the senior center staff. Employees and seniors reacted with fear and concern. Health and Human Services Director Gene Turner has tried to assure everyone that no decisions have been made. Now, Turner stood up in front of the Inyo supervisors last week after she and Sheriff Bill Lutz went to a meeting in Lone Pine where 45 senior citizens and staff engaged in what she called robust, healthy discussion. Turner said the first comment she heard at the meeting was that the service redesign efforts would mean people getting fired. Said Turner, quote, it's scary for our workforce, end quote. Turner said if someone's job is threatened, she will try to move them to another job internally. Now, the other fear, she said, is the loss of the personal touch of the kitchen staff that seniors enjoy. Said Turner, quote, you can't put a dollar sign on that, especially if they come for human contact, end quote. She said it would help employees to communicate the rules about layoffs. Now, Turner said she will look at the senior meal program models around the state, and she said she committed to the crowd to keep them informed. She repeated that no decisions have been made. Turner and many other county officials and other agencies have been meeting in workshops to look for ways to collaborate, consolidate, and change services to reduce costs. The county faces a some $2 million shortfall next year due to employee costs. Now, Inyo Supervisor Jeff Griffiths said he had a conversation with former senior program head Charlie Broughton, and Griffiths said Broughton pointed out that delivery of meals has worked other ways in the past and that he had looked into the jail kitchen or vendors providing meals. Griffiths said Broughton also described Inyo County as unique. Supervisor Linda Arcularia said socialization for seniors would not necessarily have to be tied to food. Said Arcularius, quote, the way meals are prepared does not necessarily mean that they can't eat together, end quote. Now, Gene Turner stressed that fear has overcome some seniors and staff, and Turner and Sheriff Lutz also met with seniors at the Bishop Senior Center last Wednesday. Well, at the Eastern Sierra Wildlife Care and other rehabilitation facilities across the country, wild birds that are admitted suffering from fishing line and fish hook injuries are all too common. Now we're getting information from a press release from the Eastern Sierra Wildlife Care noting that veterinarians treat quite a few dogs also with hooks embedded in their noses or feet. But there are people, and not many, who don't take care when they go out fishing in our lovely Eastern Sierra and they leave line looped in the trees or shrubs along the stream or clumps of line and hooks on the bank or shore. Now, this carelessness can mean injury or death for wildlife. Now, late in 2013, Eastern Sierra Wildlife Care admitted 3 birds who were entangled in fishing line. An American coot with fishing line twisted around wings, beak, and feet was hanging upside down from a bush above the water and rescued by an 11-year-old visitor at Twin Lakes in Mammoth. An osprey caught up in line at Grant Lake was reported to the Forest Service, and Ranger Dave Marquette rescued the fish-catching bird of prey who was in the water not far from shore. Now, 2 visitors fishing near Five Bridges Road spotted and rescued an immature red-tailed hawk wrapped in fishing line and hung up on underbrush near the canal. Now, the 2 raptors were lucky. The coot did not fare so well, dying after several weeks of treatment. Now, Eastern Sierra Wildlife Care is researching the possibilities of installing waste containers for line and hooks at high-use fishing areas. Now, you can see more on this story. Please check our website, sierrawave.net, and also check out their great website, eswildlifecare.org. We'll be back with a weather report.